what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket trembling, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Satan's that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land under the frame, and the home of the brave. Here in name, the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. Stand of the brave, the US of A. Oh, Satan's that star-spangled banner, yeah, wave for the land of the free, and the home of the crush all infidels who stray. Time to know the pain, but no time to run within. And these hands you see before you will end the light of day. Your ashes will be cast into the wind. Your blood's upon the soil, your body fed to wolves. Not one of you will be left alive. Hear the sound pounding at the army of the night. By the hammer of Thor you now shall die. Tonight we strike, there is thunder in the sky. Together we'll fight, some of us will die. We'll always remember that we made a stand, and many will die by my hand. We are high atop the mountain, with hammers in the wind, lusting for blood and death again. In a flash of lightning strike, Now the house of death invites you, body and soul, to come within. I see the fear you have inside. You can run but never hide. I will hunt you down and tear you limb from limb. Nothing shall remain, not your memory or name. It will be as though you never, ever lived. Tonight we strike, there is hunger in the sky. Together we'll fight, some of us will die. We'll always remember that we made a stand. Many will die by my hand. With hammers in the wind, lusting for blood and death again. In a flash of lightning strike, now the house of death invites you, body and soul, to come within. I see the fear you have inside. You can run but never hide. I will hunt you down and tear you limb from limb. Nothing shall remain, not your memory or name. It would be as though you never, ever lived. Tonight we strike, there is hunger in the sky. Together we'll fight, and some of us will die. But we'll always remember that we made a stand, and many will die by my hand. Tonight we strike, there is thunder in the sky. Together we'll fight, some of us will die. They'll always remember that we made a stand. Many will die by my hand. Tonight we strike, there is thunder in the sky. Together we'll fight, some of us will die. But they'll always remember that we made a stand. And many will die by my hand. We will die. We will die. We will die by my hand. We will die. We will die by my hand. We will die by my
Okay, let's see if we're doing well. We're doing something. Okay, that's it. That's what counts. Hi there, kiddies. See you starting to chime in there. I will be flying alone again tonight, and I was at a gun show for the last 2 days, so I don't know how long my voice is gonna last. The show was normally a good show in years past, but the people that are running it just can't get it through their head that they have to put some advertisement out to let people know that the show's going on. We had rain all day yesterday, or not all day, up till about 1 or 2 o'clock, and we should have had. Well, yeah, I mean, I know yeah, I know you're all with me, but you know what I'm saying. And but anyway, getting back to the show, they one of the biggest circulations of information is what they call the area shopper. It goes to about 100,000 homes, direct mail, and they only got it in this week. It showed up Friday. Most people don't get it until Saturday, but those that are not too far away get it on Friday. Well, it showed up. They had their ad in it, but that's the first ad they've had in there. Then there was a guy that lives down there that said it was only in the local paper one day, and that was on Thursday. And they kind of screwed the pooch because they didn't put the advertisement out. I'm not saying I'm the world's best advertiser or anything like that. They put it on the internet. Well, the putting it on the internet is okay as long as people are looking for it. I was looking on the internet that they weren't having a show. They weren't having a show. So you have to, you gotta, if you're gonna have one, you gotta erase that internet and put it on there that you're gonna have it done. Well, they may have done it, but it wasn't soon enough. You have to hit all. You have to do all the local newspapers and stuff like that. Yeah, I know the media doesn't like us, guns. Yeah, I know guns. I know them real well for years. And that, but anyway, it was not very good attendance-wise, and the sales weren't. For the size of the crowd that came through, I would say the sales were pretty good because I did about $800 worth of sales over the 2 days. But then I turned around and bought another $500 worth of supplies. One of them happened to be some small pistol primers. I lucked out and got a hold of 3,000 of them because I was down to my last 500. So that allows me to churn out some of the smaller calibers like 38, 357, 9mm and that. But I also lucked out and got a 500 round bag of 45 ACP, brand new brass, already primed. Well, with today's prices of primers, the minimum amount the primers were worth was $50. With some of the crazy prices out there that the people are wanting or asking for primers, I can find them on the internet, but they're wanting $200 or $260. So I won't buy them at that price. I can't make a little bit of a profit at that price. So anyway, I lucked out and got 300 small pistol primers in that. Okay, I mean, I haven't had a chance to study that, but I'm glad to see the sailors are saying no, and they are taking the discharge. But that all plays into Biden's hands and the Chinese hands because it further weakens our military ability, and they're going to come to a point where they're going to have to realize we can't do this. Okay, we can't do this. And I see over in Germany, I'm getting off on the rant here because I was talking to gun shows, but anyway. Over in Germany, I just saw the day where Germany is going to allow the big stores grocery stores, no less, to ban anybody that does not have the vaccine from coming into the store. So now the move is to start starving you into it. Well, you know what I'm saying. And well, to a certain extent, the hierarchy of the military is, Emmy, with that asshole general calling the Chinese, that tipped it all away. The rank and file, no. Um, if the rank and file was in step with the Chinese, they probably would have taken the vaccine to stay in. And but this goes to thin the ranks of the military to get rid of anybody that has a brain to think for himself and who would not go against their people when the government decides they want to come and take their guns. And believe me, they're going to come and try. So you thin the ranks, because last time there's been a couple of new surveys like the 29 Palms, and I'm not sure what the new results were, but I do know it was still quite high as to the number of people that they were in the military. They told them they were not going to go against their family if they do. So, well, the problem is getting to that guy, not just with him come out and being outspoken or tipping the commies off. Getting the personnel to get close enough to him is one thing. We don't know what's going on in the lower ranks. There could be something that's going on to bring him down, but in order to bring him down, they got to bring Biden down. They got to bring Kamala Harris down. They have to bring the whole establishment down that's in Washington right now, and that's going to take a lot of planning and stuff. I would venture to say, and this is my own thoughts, my own opinion, until they tell me my opinion can be my opinion as long as it agrees with their opinion. I do believe that there is going to be some sort of military coup. Okay, just how it goes, I don't know, but I believe that we're pushing closer to a military coup. And because I know the military doesn't want to do that because that violates the Constitution. But if these commies keep sinking this country down deeper and deeper, deeper, we're not going to have any choice but to have some sort of day of reckoning. And so all I can tell you, kids, keep cool, stay frosty, keep your eyes and ears open. Listen to the mainstream. Don't believe what they say, but listen to them and listen to the lies and the half-truths. And then get on the internet and check for yourself what's going on, and you will find they are giving you little tips. But they're not giving away the candy store. So anyway, the 2020 or 2022 elections coming up this next year. The more I hear and more I'm reading, it is becoming it's headed for a gigantic disaster for the Democratic Party. More and more states are coming out and admitting that there was fraud, even though they can't get the courts to go along with it. Not enough evidence. Although up in Michigan, I guess they are prosecuting at least 3 individuals for voter fraud, for voting for doing the voting for a bunch of people and never telling them who are getting their permission to conduct, place the vote or to cast the vote. So we have the report from Arizona, and the news media tried to glare over it with saying there was 57,000 irregularities, which happened to be 57,000 illegal voters. And but the problem is The courts are denying there's any evidence of this happening. Pennsylvania is going to conduct an audit to try and figure out how we got 220 some thousand more votes than there are registered voters in the state for our election. And I know how that was. Don't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. That's the reason why the extended 3 days beyond the poll to vote, cast your vote by mail, was set in arbitrarily by the governor and the attorney general, in which case both of them were in violation of law, and both of them should be arrested and removed from office for whatever reason. I don't care what you call it. They're traitors, they're communists, and the ballots should have been thrown out. Under federal law, which hasn't been changed, all ballots have to be received by the time the polls close. If they are not received by that time at the post office and postmarked before the polls close, they're not supposed to count. But that's why you have all those extensions added in. So when they were doing their tallywhacking, they saw that Trump was beating, and that allowed them to have time to have people go to the mailbox and dump more ballots in. It don't take a rocket scientist to figure it out that this election was stolen. Both the damn judges that are out there, they're as crooked as the rest of them. So, yeah, they own the vote. Yep, I have to agree with you, but so I talked to a lot of veterans today, and it is not a pretty picture out there, kids. I don't know if any of you go to gun shows in your area, if when they're around, but you want to get a true pulse of the feeling of the people. Go to the gun show and just walk around quietly and listen to what's going on, what people are talking about. You'll get a better feeling for what's out there. So anyway, enough on the election shit. I don't want to get into the COVID, but I do want to mention that next week I will be at Jefferson County or Ashtabula County Fairgrounds, Jefferson, Ohio. So if Jack, you're listening, or you listen to the station or tune in later after the show's over, whatever, because I don't see you on the chat. But if you tune in later, let you know I will be there unless something happens. And you're right, we will have to rebuild the country from scratch, I'm afraid. I mean, you're right about that, and I've said that for a long time. There is no going back the way we are until after we rebuild the country. And if we have to go to a bloodbath, a bloodletting revolution, then when it's all over, any of the enemy that survives, we need to put them on a boat and send them to China, to the old Soviet Union, and down to Cuba, and say South or Vietnam, and any of the other countries that are touting the communist way. And if they don't want to take them, that's fine. We'll just drop them off about 2 miles out and let them swim in. Well, we'll take them out and drop them off about 12 miles out in international water, then let them swim in. Yeah, it's a ruination. It's a ruination. So, getting back to the gun show. I'm sorry, my thoughts are going. I'll be at Ashtabula County Gun Show at Jefferson, Ohio. Then the week after that is my show here in Meadville at East Mead Fire Hall, which is about 5 miles east of Meadville on Route 27. Now, we had one in the spring, and we only had about 30 days to get it off the ground, which we were able to do, and it was fairly successful. Even though the weather was against us, we still had a 300 plus crowd in that. So we've had now about 2 or 3 months to be able to get out and circulate among the public with flyers and we've already started the deluge of advertisement, and we will be I will be hitting the papers on Friday to get the ads ready to go in for starting on Monday. That's a week from tomorrow. And then the week after that is my Chapin show. And I will be doing the same thing, getting when I call to put the ads in for this week for East Mead, I will also put them in for the Chapmanville show, so I won't have to make that call because I'm going to be pretty busy the next week laying out the floor plan for both of the shows and signing people to the tables. At East Mead, we have the capability of having 70 tables. As it stands today, we have 55 of the tables sold, so we have enough room to get 15 more tables in there, which has already put us past what we had at the last show. So, and then in November, I have another one down in Hermitage, PA at the VFW down there, and I forget the date. I think, I don't have my calendar here, so I think mine's the 6th and 7th, so 13th and 14th. It's either the 13th and 14th or the 20th and 21st. It's right before Thanksgiving. So anyhow, I'm tired already, but I'll keep going for a while. I also want to give you a heads up, and I talked to Randall on Thursday, Bones, the bludgeoner, and he was diagnosed with COVID here beginning of the week. So he is not in the hospital as of Thursday. I got to call him tonight when I get home or get back up there. He's not in the hospital. He's at home doctoring, and which is good because that means he doesn't have it very bad, but has to watch to make sure it doesn't go very bad. So anyhow, let you know about that. I didn't get a chance to talk to Scotty. Last I know, he was still fighting the sinus infection, so he might still be fighting that. When I get done here, I'll probably call him later tonight or maybe tomorrow. And brain fart, kids, brain fart. Did you hear it go? Anyway, oh, come on, man. If the train didn't come yet, it's not time for you to leave. Oh, okay. I saw a blurb on the internet yesterday that there is a city in Canada, and I can't remember what the name of it was, that is proposing legislation to not allow non-vaccinated couples to get married. Okay? Non-vaccinated couples can't get married. And so we're not alone in the dictatorship of communism taking over the world, kids. We have an uphill battle, and it's going to take all of us with every ounce of strength that we have left. And so, hey, well, getting back to the gun show, I made some buys. Like I said, I picked up the 3,000 primers, and I picked up 545 new brass that was already primed. So that was a good thing. And I was able to also get some large pistol primers on the internet, which will probably be here Tuesday. They tried to deliver them Saturday, but I wasn't here, which I was afraid of. So we have to be here to sign for them. So they're coming back on Tuesday. I got a terrific deal on 500 rounds of 38 special brass for $10. And I know I could probably sell that 500 to a customer because they've only gotten 500 from me in the past, so they probably will be interested in the other. And hopefully I'll have some more a better idea when she's going to come down and talk, because one or both of them is supposed to be coming down Tuesday to pick up some stuff. So I will be talking to her then to see when she's ready to come down. Hopefully I can get her down here before we get too bad of a weather and end up getting a midnight snowstorm or something like that. Well, I don't believe in the civil marriages either, Emmy, but even if you don't get married under civil marriage, you are married under God, and that's what counts. Okay, the civil marriage just acquiesces your rights to familyhood when your children come along, even though people don't realize that. And so, um, under the eyes of the Lord, you don't need to have a marriage license or any of that garbage. You just go ahead and get married. But because everybody is forced to comply, you can get married or live as a couple, and in 7 years, it used to be 7 years under common law. They would call it common law marriage, um, just by living together. But they've tried. I think they've tried to do away with that here in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure if they did or didn't. And yeah, Uncle Bob, you're right about that. McCarthy was right when he said there was commies in the country, and not just in Hollywood, though. That was the problem. So, well, I don't know about people up there in the north of me here, but we just had a rather vicious rainstorm come blowing through, and I mean blowing through. Uh, I'm going to, during halftime or intermission, I guess I'm going to have to take and pull the color radar up on here and see what things are happening. They finally got the color radar working again and moving again instead of being stationary. So I used to, when I went to make my plans to do stuff, I used to go to that to see how close the rainstorm was. So if there was rain in the area, I knew approximately how long I had to do a chore outside before the rain got there. And so, but I got a question for you. How would you like to be able to work for the government and be making mistakes on your forecast and still get paid for it? What job? What job do you think I'm talking about? The only job that I can think of that pays you for making mistakes and doesn't fire you. So you kids can think about it. If you want to answer, go ahead. So I don't have a lot of bulk of material because I've been busy this week loading ammunition, and crap, I got 1,000 rounds. I got about 1,500 rounds of ammo ready to be picked up Tuesday, and they're already talking about bringing me 5 boxes of 32 special to load for them, and I I had enough bullets left over from the last order that I could load 1 box. Well, I lucked out and found some at the gun show today. Found out a lot of stuff down there today, and I got for the most part, got pretty good deals, so it makes it easier to make a little bit of a profit. So um, this next week, I'm going to be busy. Uh, yeah, a lot of jobs are like that. Doctors to president. Um, the only way you can get rid of the president is to impeach him when he makes a mistake. Doctors, if they get sued and sued often enough, their license can be taken away for malpractice. Um, but but a lot of places now, and the other one is teachers. Once teachers get that so-called tenure, you can't fire them for nothing. And that, but if a police officer makes a mistake, why they're all down his throat, he was a racist and a homophobic and hater um, and that kind of stuff. And I'm not talking about just general mistakes. I'm talking about when they actually end up killing somebody when they had the person already subdued. And if you resist arrest for whatever reason, the police have should have the ability to arrest you and subdue you. But once they got you in handcuffs, that's as far as any subduing goes. They should let you go. Sit in the car if they can get you in the car. If they can't, let you flop around on the compounded concrete and beat your head to the ground. I don't care. And because the person that they're arresting is being an asshole, and assholes deserve whatever they get. So, and I'm talking about people that are not guilty of something. It if you don't resist, you have a better chance of fighting them. Not that you need to fight them, but you have a better chance of fighting them and beating them in court than you do resisting and trying to get away. Because the more you try, the more come. Okay, they're like bees to honey. Okay, so I look at a police officer as a necessary evil, because the people in this country have become they're becoming anarchists. Of course, I know what the reason for allowing them to become anarchists is, to allow the crime rate to go up so that the government can declare the feds can declare martial law or call in the UN to help police the country. Because I've said it before, the only way the New World Order can take over is they have to destroy the United States. They have to disarm the public, destroy the United States to make it a non-entity. And then the communists will then splice up the world. And there'll never be peace, because there's always, once once lines are drawn, people become jealous of the others, especially if one becomes more successful than the others. And something I didn't pull up, but I did see that this afternoon that now that the U.S. pulled out and left all that supplies behind, that the Afghan Air Force is now bigger than 10 of NATO countries. And they went down and listed in NATO countries. And of course, the fortunate thing is, right at the present moment, they're not able to put a lot of them in flight, because we were able to dismantle a few, but there are over 40 or 48 that we did not dismantle. Okay, and so that's one fortunate thing. But the other fortunate thing is, they've only got a couple pilots so far that have defected from the Taliban or the Afghan army to fly the helicopters. But that's only temporary. They will probably they will probably be able to get training from either China or all of the Russians or some of the other countries that they are favored with. But I don't know, maybe Iran. But so it waits to be seen as to what's going to happen over there. I have a feeling things are going to get really hairy for those people over there. But the Afghan army is the one that allowed it to happen. We didn't, and us. Um, they were on the front lines and they ran rather than fight. So I was drinking a mug of coffee to try and yeah, me. Yeah, I understand what you're saying there, Emmy. But remember, they can drive the four-wheeled vehicles pretty good. After all, they were able to penetrate and do a lot of damage with them over the years with their car bombs and stuff. So um, they don't worry about collateral damage. So they don't care if they run over 1,000 people when they're trying to get to wherever they're going. Not like us. We want to fight. We're going to fight a war, but we're going to fight a limited war and cut down on the collateral damage. So if this Talibani is living in a neighborhood with a bunch of anti-Talibaners, and this is why we were there, and we targeted him, we would send in a drone target to take out the one building. And sometimes he was there, and sometimes he was not. And so there was collateral damage, but you cannot fight a war that way, not and expect to win. And all these modern day thinkers about how to fight a war just can't get it through your head that the only way you can fight a war is to kill people and break things. And when you do that, you have to take the land away from them so they don't have a way to get resupplied. So that's why they say we lost in Vietnam. We didn't lose in Vietnam. We won the battlefields. It's just that the Congress lost the peace. And well, Emmy, I know what you're saying. They claim it was because the Taliban was partly responsible for the the 9/11 attacks. And so we were going over there to make the world safe from terrorism. And we accomplished nothing but get 52,000 of our soldiers wounded and maimed, and I don't know how many thousand we got killed. And then the damn jackasses pull out, and any strides that we may have made, they allow to go down the toilet. But on the same token, you have to realize who you're dealing with. You've been dealing with people that have been fighting among themselves in tribal warfare for the last 2,000 to 3,000 years, and you're not going to change that. You're not going to bring in the concept of a Republican type of government or a constitutional type government with people that do not understand that or have any understanding about anything unless it's warfare. And so I was watching a story on the Afghan, and they said that they were talking about how many different countries invaded Afghan, and they eventually had to pull out because they were defeated because they could not continue to fight the Afghanis in the guerrilla warfare way, and they ended up pulling out. The Russians did it. Now we did it. I think. I'm not sure if the Chinese did it, but other Muslim groups did it, and eventually we're all driven out. It took time, but when you got people with that mindset, You have to kill them all, or you're going to be continuously fighting a war. So you figure that out. Yeah, Uncle Bob, you're probably right. 6,000 plus years. And but the real reason we were over there to fight in Afghanistan, if you really want to get down to it, was to help allow the opium fields to grow and get the opium out of there. The opioids that they now are claiming are doing so much damage to this country, which then brings me to the friggin' border. Years ago, I forget which president it was, they declared a war on drugs. And one of the British Empire failed too. Yeah, the one of the things that they did to help control, they thought would control the war on drugs, was the IRS started requiring the banks to report deposits of $10,000 or more to any checking or business account. Well, when that didn't seem to have any effect to slow it down, then they dropped it down to 5,000, and that didn't seem to help any. So now they dropped it down. They dropped it down to like 2,000 or 3,000, and now with the dictator in charge down there, he wants it to be $600. But in the meantime, they leave the borders open where tons and tons of that shit is coming across the border, and they do nothing to stop it at the border. It's a lot easier to stop it there before it gets divvied up throughout the United States. So, yeah, that was probably under Reagan, and but anyhow, the border being open like it is, you got three things that are coming across there. You got people that are sick with COVID. You got the drug runners pushing people through, and you got potential terrorists. The FBI, the last figure I had was, it's about 2 months old. The last figure they had was they caught about 800 potential terrorists on the terrorist watch list, but they figured that 14 to 1,500 more had made it through without being caught. So, yeah. Yeah, the Bill Gates and Muskie, I guess that's who you're talking about. Musk get away with tax free. Well, that's because they're part of the hierarchy of the communist plot in this country, in case you didn't know. And because Trump is not in that field, they're after him for taxes every which way you can go. So it reminds me of that. What was that one movie that Clint Eastwood played in? He had the monkey with him. Any which way you can, or any which way. I think it was any which way you can, but I can't remember. Too many things going on, too confusing. So anyway, well, I'm not forgetting the Haitians. I'm talking about all these illegals from wherever they're coming from. I'm not going to sit down and try and break down each one because it'll make your head spin and give you a headache. Yeah, anyway, but loose. Yeah. So, see, that's why I like you guys out there you can help me get through some of the stuff that I'm trying to remember, because it's so much that I piss with. And maybe I shouldn't do as much as I do, and then I'd be a little bit more concentrated on my thoughts and that. But there's just so much going on out there that I try to put it out. And, but some good news, some bad news. For those of us that are on Social Security, and depending how much you get, we are going to get a substantial raise this year. Now, some of you may have heard this or not, but anyway, I have been on Social Security for 11 years now. So you put me on at 62. Yeah, so I've been on Social Security for 11 years. Because they put me on 3 years early, it cost me $300 out of my Social Security monthly Social Security payment. So all those raises that I supposedly got from then until now had gone to um, pay for the increase in the Medicare premiums. I've been living on $461, $461 for the last 13 years. Now, according to Social Security, they're going to give us a 5.9% boost in our benefits for 2022. Okay, this is out of Newsmax. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. There's two authors here. So one, the first name is Richard, and the other, Ricardo, and the other is Christopher. So you figure that out. Anyway, millions of retirees on Social Security will get a 5.9% boost in benefits for 2022. The biggest cost of living adjustment in 39 years follows a burst in inflation as the economy struggles to shake off the drag of the COVID virus pandemic. Yeah, blame it on the COVID. Yeah. The COLA, which it's commonly called, amounts to $92 a month for the average retired worker, according to the estimates released Wednesday by the Social Security Administration. That marks an abrupt break from the long low in inflation that saw cost of living adjustments averaging just 1.65% a year over the past 10 years. While the increase, the estimated Social Security payment for a retired worker will be $1,657 a month next year. A typical couple's benefits would raise by $154 a month to $2,753 a month. Well, my wife and I are not the average couple, so we're not going to see that much. We'll be lucky between the two of us to see $100. It goes pretty quickly, retiree Cliff Rumsey said of the cost of living increase he's seen. After a career in sales for the leading steel manufacturer, Rumsey lives near Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. He cares at home for his wife of nearly 60 years, Judy, who has advanced Alzheimer's disease since the coronavirus pandemic. Rumsey said he has noted price increase for food, wages paid to caregivers who occasionally spell him, and professional care products for Judy, not to mention energy costs. Well, my voice is starting to fail me, kids. But anyway, the COLA affects household budgets for about 1 in 5 Americans. That includes Social Security recipients, disabled veterans, federal retirees, and nearly 70 million people. For baby boomers who embarked on retirement within the last 15 years, it will be the biggest increase they've seen. Yeah, I sat down and figured it out. If they base it on the amount, your gross amount before they take out for Medicare, my wife gets $1,250 a month. So we'll just bump that up to 6%. Zero, that's 30, that's 15, that's 6, that's 7. We'll see approximately somewhere around $75, and mine being about excuse me, $550 a month before they take out for Medicare. I'm going to see, roughly speaking, about $33 a month minus whatever they raise the Medicare premiums to. So we will see, roughly speaking, maybe somewhere around 90 to $100 a month increase in our Social Security benefits, and it's not a lot, but right now for me it's better than nothing. And $100 is $100, and that will stay the cost of that will at least pay most of the medical bill or drug bill through the VA. So, um, which then allows me $100 to do something else with. And remember this: even though the prices have gone up, you also have to take a look at the size of the packaging now. They're changing the size of the packaging and making it smaller, paying more and reducing the package size so that they can deceive you into thinking the inflation is not that bad. But um, it's going to get, I'm telling you, it's going to get really bad. I can't put my finger on when. I have a feeling it's going to be in 2022. I have a feeling there might be a lot to worry about between 2020 and 2022 in the primary election, especially after the election, if a lot of incumbents get tossed out. And by the way, remind people, if there's an incumbent in there who's been there for more than 2 terms, fire his ass, kick him out. Get rid of these people that go in there and as long as they get in there and they build up a power struggle, or not struggle, but a power base. And then there's nobody for them to answer to. So the thing of it is, get rid of these bastards, put these punks back in the bottle and throw them in the ocean and let them drift around the world free of charge. And put a sign on there, do not open until, let's see, it would be a good time. Oh, let's go 23-21. That'd be a good time. And so, anyhow, yeah, I will pay more and like it as long as I can get things. Yeah, well, I will pay more for it, but it doesn't mean I have to like it. And I was hoping God would take care of them. Well, in the end, God will take care of them. But you have to remember, if you read the Bible, that God gave the devil temporary dominion over the earth. But he gave you and I the ability to choose right from wrong. And if we choose the right path, then the devil's on your back. Okay, trying to trip you up, get you to stray away from the Lord. But if you choose his way, then you get whatever the devil wants you to get and be happy with it. He gives you a false sense of security and false sense of wealth. So, yeah, the dust is coming, Emmy. I just got the word from the Lord. There's a great big truckload of dust coming down from heaven as long as we can find a driver to bring it here. Hey, Uncle Bob, you want a job? You take your 18-wheeler up there and get a truckload of dust and drive it down for the Lord. So, I shouldn't talk like that, but you're right. Where is the when's the nonsense going to stop? And only the Lord knows when that's going to happen. Well, I'm going to try. Yeah, be a dust driver. I'm going to try putting some music on and rest my voice for a few minutes. Come back for the second hour. It started to fail me towards the end, so I don't know how long I'm going to be able to continue on, kids. I hate to do that, but that's what happens when I do a gun show and I don't have a co-host. And no, I don't want to end stream. Come on, bring this up here. Ah, thank you. All right, let's see if I can find us a couple of pieces of music. Musica. Yeah, let's just start. I'm going to do that one.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my feet relieved. How precious dear that grace appeared. The hour I first believed, when we bend there 10,000 years, bright shining yet the sun. We've numberless days to sing God's praise. Then when we first begun, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
I am the unknown soldier. Some call me MIA. Some say I can't go home again. Some say I chose to stay. I am the unknown soldier who you refuse to know. A brother and a friend of yours who left so long ago. Some call me POW, the one they left behind. I am the unknown soldier, the one they never tried to find. I'm the one they never tried to find. I'm a farmer from Missouri, the soldier from St. Paul. I was the hero of my family, and still my picture's upon their wall. I'm a poet and a scholar, and the boy who lived next door. I am the unknown soldier, forgotten on a foreign shore, long forgotten on a foreign shore. I was someone's loving daddy, I was someone's pride and joy, I was someone's tender lover, a worried mama's little boy. And if you should just forget me here, then should I forget you too? Please won't you try to bring me home? For I'm someone who belongs to you. I'm still someone who belongs to you. I am the unknown soldier with no more tears to shed. I'm just a fading memory, a part of the living dead. My country has betrayed me, yet I have forgiven you. And every night I pray to God that somehow he'll forgive you too. Yes, even somehow he'll forgive you too. You can't face the one your country told you died. I am the unknown soldier with dreams to rescue me, and I am a man who understands. Only death might ever set me free. Only death might ever set me free. I am the unknown soldier, and I'm black and blue and gray. I said I am the unknown soldier, and I die slowly every day. And I'm tired, and I'm hungry, and I'm lonely, and I'm cold. I am the unknown soldier, the one you bought and sold. I'm the one you bought and sold. So lay down close beside me now and gently stroke my face and wrap your arms around me now before we leave this place. Some called me POW, some called me MIA. Some say I can't come home again, but I will return someday.
sleep with your rifle. Keep your powder dry. You be fighting for your country. See the colors fly. Yeah, they're coming in the morning, boys. You gotta hold out. You're the Queen's Light Infantry. Sing out loud. Yeah, they're coming in the morning, boys. You gotta hold the line. You came for the glory, to fight and to die. You stood in the thin red line. Remember the heroes when stories are told. They died in the thin red line. In the thin red line. Stand steady in the ranks, boys. You gotta hold your fire. Show them what we're made of when they hit the wire. Now they're coming in the morning, boys. You gotta hold the line. You've been thinking of your loved ones if you left back there. And the sound of the bugle, just the tune out here. Now they're coming in the morning, boys. You gotta hold the line. You came for the glory, to fight and to die. You stood in the thin red line. Remember the heroes when stories are told. They died in the thin red line. In the thin red line. Now you lay with your comrades far across the sea. Now you're fighting for the empire. Did you die for me? Gotta come in the morning, boys. You gotta hold the line. You better sleep with your rifle. Keep your powder dry. You be fighting for your country. See the colors fly. Gotta come in the morning, boys. You gotta hold the line. You came for the glory, to fight and to die. You stood in the thin red line. Remember the heroes when stories are told. They died in the thin red line. You came for the glory, to fight and to die. You stood in the thin red line. Remember the heroes when stories are told. They died in the thin red line. Thin red line.
Okay, kids, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that little extra long mid yeah, show break there. I got three stories that I want to relate to you, and then I think I'm going to call it quits with your good graces. And let's see, who do I want to start with first? Let's see if that one can last, but let's start this one here. Remember when I was talking about the war on crime and the different dollar amounts that they were wanting to have the banks report for deposits and all that kind of stuff? And Biden has reduced it down to 600. Well, here's off of Newsmax, Charlie McCarthy. Backlash could force Democrats to rethink IRS bank account monitoring. A fierce public backlash could force Democrats to rethink a proposal that includes the monitoring of most financial accounts, the Washington Examiner reported. The plan is to provide the IRS with access to individual bank accounts with a balance as low as $600. They end up significantly modified to or dropped altogether, the Examiner reported. It needs to be dropped altogether. Republicans and trade groups opposed the proposed, saying it would infringe on privacy, create significant liability for financial institutions, and add a new cost for customers. Speaker Nancy Pelosi of Californicators brushed off the concerns about the provision when reporters asked about it on Tuesday. The Examiner said, yes, there are concerns that some people will have. Pelosi said, but if people are breaking the law and not paying their taxes, one way to track them is through the banking measure. Pelosi did add, however, that the $600 threshold was a negotiation that will go on as to what the amount is. You already got it down to $2,000. Don't you think you could figure out who's not paying their taxes by that amount? Dumb cunt. Um, News that the progressives want to monitor people's bank accounts could hurt the Democrats' attempt to pass a massive social spending bill that would create new government programs paid for with tax increases. Yeah. But we're going to do this and you're going to pay for it. President Joe Biden and fellow progressives have said tax increases will be aimed at corporates and wealthy individuals. Biden has promised families with incomes of less than $400,000 they would not be included. Well, how generous you are. Does that count you, Biden? Are you getting $400,000 or less a year? Is that why that number is put there? The Democrats' IRS provision, though would require financial institutions to track and submit to the IRS information on the inflows and outflows of every account above $600 during the year, including breakdowns for cash. The American Bankers Association said. That's what I was drinking in the first hour there. I mean, it was a cup of coffee. Anyway, let's see. The ABA and 40 business groups in a letter sent earlier this month to House leaders urged lawmakers to drop the proposal, including the Examiner. While the stated goal of this vast data collection is to uncover tax dodging by the wealthy, the proposal is not remotely targeted to that purpose or that population. Business groups, including the Consumer Bankers Association and National Association of Retailers, wrote the proposal would almost certainly undermine efforts to reach vulnerable populations and unbanked households. Progressives have been reluctant to kill the provision because they intend to increase the IRS enforcement to pay for more than the 20% of their social spending package. We'll just see. If you don't hire those people, then you don't have to spend that 20% to pay them wages. And that means my taxes wouldn't have to go up, even though I don't make 400,000. I wish it did. The examiner said House Ways and Means Committee Chairman Richard Neal, Democrat of Massachusetts, was considering a plan to increase the IRS access threshold. Yeah, damn Democrats. Well, the average household bank account to the balance minimum of $10,000. The average household bank account since 2019 is about 40,000, according to the Federal Reserve Board. The new threshold could still affect individuals who do not consider themselves wealthy. 40,000. I wish I had $40,000 in the bank. I'd go and pay off all my debts. I wouldn't be on Easy Street, but it'd be a lot easier than what it is now. You friggin' communist leeches. So here you go, folks. You need to go out there and you need to get a hold of your congressman and you need to campaign in your neighborhoods. Form rallies, whatever the case may be. And get people together, do a letter writing campaign to your congressman. And not that it would do any good, it'd probably fall on deaf ears if you sent letters to Pelosi and to Biden, especially if you're a Republican. But anyway, make up a form letter, copy it, make up a rubber stamp to stamp it with your name and address and whatever, or even just your name, and send it to these assholes. And if enough people will express their desires when these people come up for re-election, if they didn't do it, then you can vote their ass out of there. But you got to remember one thing. When you go to the polls, you can't just walk in, I'm a Democrat, and pull the lever for a Democrat. That's what got us into this bullshit. One of the things that got us into this bullshit. You have to judge the person that's running based on what his past history is, and if you know him and what he's like personally. Not because he's telling you what you want to hear, because they all do that. But you take a look at what he's telling you and look what he has actually done. And if he's done the opposite of what he's telling you, then you don't vote for the sucker. And it's better not to send anybody down there than it is to send a fake. We'll call him a fake. I was going to call him, well, I can't call him that because he may not be a fag. Anyway. All right, the second story I want to do, it's off of Newsmax. Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, Biden's servient minion of ex-Jinping. Yeah, that Chinese guy that goes ping pong, but he don't have the pong to go with his ping. So we'll just call him Ping. This is by Eric Max. I just pulled that up today. Denouncing the Biden administration's appearance of being weak and feckless, and a pushover to China's president's ex-Jinping, retired Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, suspects President Joe Biden is being blackmailed by the Chinese Communist Party. Now, you remember Oliver North. He's the one that took on the chin for the gun running that happened down in Central America, down in Guatemala or whatever. Anyway, he took the heat for that. He saw us as weak and feckless. He sees Biden as a pushover. It kind of makes you wonder why Biden has basically become a subservient minion of Jinping. I'll get it right. Maybe I won't get it right. Who cares? You're just a goddamn Chinese communist anyway. North wanted the Chinese North warned the Chinese are attempting to reverse engineer the remarkable technology of the M1 tanks Biden left in Afghanistan. Thanks to Willie Millie, who said it's cheaper to leave the stuff there than it is to bring it home. Now you're giving the technology to the enemy. If that don't make you a traitor, I don't know what does, but let's go on. All this stuff is happening now underneath our noses, and we're still talking about how to make social justice warriors out of our soldiers. Norris said, referring to White House Joint Chiefs of Staff General Mark Milley, seeking to understand with white rage. Yeah, seeking to understand white rage. Why do you, what's so hard to understand? You keep pushing us in the corner and telling us that we're the root of all evil, and then you want to know why we're pushing back. It's all right for you to push, but we're not allowed to push back. We're just supposed to sit back and take it while you throw shit in our face. It's totally wrong, and the administration is going to pay a terrible price for it. Americans should be very concerned about the developments under Biden and his anti-American advisors. We ought to be very nervous about what this president is doing and why he's doing it, Norris said. Why is it that he is taking the advice of someone other than our military about the way we conducted the Afghan withdrawal? Who is it that we're talking to that overruling the leadership of our military? That's why I strongly endorse the idea of having a congressional joint commission bipartisanship to investigate why these decisions are being made and to who is giving him advice. Biden and his leaders might be compromised, North concluded. He's got some advisors that are completely anti-American, and he said, you have to answer the question. Is he a compromised president? Well, yeah, I think he's compromised. I don't have any way to prove it, so I just have to go along with thinking that he is, suspecting that he is. But the underlying reason is who's controlling it and advising Biden. Well, one of those people are the former president, the abomination. We all know that he was put in office to drive a wedge between the races, which he did. We all know that he was put in the office to bring this country to destruction. They didn't quite get it there. They got interrupted in their plans when Trump got elected because the Clintonistas, the Hildebeests, were supposed to get in there and pick up and finish what Obama started. So it's been a long conspiracy chain that has been going on for years to bring this country down, and it goes back to even before World War II. It actually goes back to shortly after the American Civil War, if not including the American Civil War. So, just you remember all those soldiers, uncles, brothers, aunts, grandfathers who died through the years to try and keep us free, and then we're allowing it to be sold down the river, and they paid for it with blood, and we're allowing it to be so much whitewashed and thrown in the garbage can. That's what happens when you allow people come in and they want to erase history. I heard somebody talking today at the gun show about how his son was 10 years old and he was studying and watching the not news feeds, but the vintage footage from World War II and Korea and Vietnam, and was very, very interested in it and very astute as to what was going on. And he was saying he's waiting to see how his reaction to history is when they get into history class. Uh, and I didn't speak up, but I almost said, you'll be lucky if they even get to that part. Because they are sidestepping a lot of our history in favor of the New World Order and the other things that were going on, not inside the United States, going way back to our Revolutionary War. Okay, I have another one. And this is another showing of how the socialist communist rewriting is going on. I got this from Newsmax. I don't know if any of you kids heard this. If you heard this, go ahead and punch up on the chat to let me know that you heard this. Superman cutting out of American Way. DC Comics is dumping the patriot portion of Superman's long-used motto to fight for truth, justice, and the American way, for a mission statement to champion truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. Jim Lee. Last name being Lee. Could that? I shouldn't speculate that. Chief Creative Officer and Publisher of DC announced the swap Saturday during a virtual fan event, asserting that the Man of Steel's model will be evolving, Variety reported. In a statement, the company said the decision is meant to better reflect the storylines that we are telling across DC and to honor Superman's incredible legacy of over 80 years of building a better world. That's a good question. I mean, I don't know if Obama's due for another one or not, and that probably is so they can help keep his multi-million-dollar estate along the shoreline up there and wherever he's at. Let's see. Rather, the motto came from Superman's radio series in the early 1940s during World War II and was then revived for the Adventures of Superman TV series that aired at the start of the Cold War and heights of McCarthyism, the Variety reported. By the 1960s, the model shifted to truth, justice, and freedom on the cartoon series. The New Adventures of Superman, Variety reported. In 1978, featuring film star Christopher Reeves, revived the American Way credo. It didn't last long. Variety reported that in the 1993 live-action series Lois and Clark, Superman fought just truth and justice. And in the 2006 movie Superman Returns, Daily Planet editor-in-chief Perry White asked if Superman still fights for truth, justice, and all that stuff. As the issue 8 months ago of DC Comics Batman Superman number 16 presented Superman Manta as truth, tolerance, and justice. Which writer... Yeah, now I see where this is going. Which writer Jin Lee Yang tweeted was meant to honor the mission Clark Kent's father gave him in 1948 Superman film. The decision comes in the wake of the October 11th announcement that Superman's son John Kent would come out as a bisexual. Da-da-da-da-da. Now you see where this is going, folks. Now that you read down in there and I get into it, the goddamn Chinese. They've infiltrated DC Comics and they're changing everything. And so, well, kids, I heard about that, but don't give a shit, Emmy. Okay, yeah. I don't really give a shit either, but the point of the story is when you read down in there and see who the authors and directors of the company are, it's damn Chinese. And whether they're communists or not, I can't say, but it sure looks like it with the way they're changing stuff. Because remember, you change history, people forget. People forget, change history. Okay? So, at that point, kids, I am going to call it quits. My voice is giving me crackles, and the volume's going up and down as talk. So I will see you next week. Hopefully, I have some better information. Hopefully, I won't be flying alone, so we can keep the whole show going. So at that point, God bless the Republic. Death to the New World Order. We shall prevail. And don't forget to hug your rifle. Good night.